welcome to my contest entry to Rory's 100 subscriber big giveaway, which it is exactly that. It is a huge giveaway where he's actually offering up the prize of the Bond 50 Blu-ray box set. Gee, that is incredible. Incredible giveaway. Far too generous, I think, but great nonetheless, and I think someone's going to be really happy with that. And it closes on the 19th of February, so you got about a week, another week to kind of get your entry in if you want to enter that contest. I haven't watched many of his videos, but this is a good excuse for me to kind of get on there. Admittedly, probably a bad excuse, but I'll check out some of his videos. He actually comments a lot on my videos. I didn't realise he made videos, so I'm definitely going to go back and watch some of his older ones, and I'm quite enjoying some of the ones I've seen so far. Now, he asked 3 questions of us. The first one: who is your favourite actor that played James Bond and why? Fitting, given the prize. That's a tough one. I really don't know if I have a definitive answer, excuse me, to that, because I kind of like all of them, you know. And I watched Falkerball's entry to this, and he was saying how much he hated George Lazenby. I love George Lazenby in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, one of my favourite Bond films. I think Daniel Craig's brilliant as well. My favourite growing up was always Roger Moore, even though it should have been Pierce Brosnan, because that was the Bond I grew up with, but it's tough. And I really like Timothy Dalton as well, particularly in License to Kill. It's a tough one. I don't even know if I can have an answer, to be honest. I mean, Sean Connery is the obvious classic answer, but I really don't know. I'm gonna go with Daniel Craig. I think he brings a good mix of several different elements, and I guess as the Bonds went on, that kind of happened anyway. I feel like Pierce Brosnan was a great mix of Roger Moore and Timothy Dalton. You know, he didn't go too far into the kind of silliness of Roger Moore, and didn't go too serious as some people felt Timothy Dalton was, but had a good mix. But I think Daniel Craig is a good mix of all of them, and just kind of brings that modern edge to it, and just brought the character perfectly in line with what they were trying to do with you know, James Bond in the 21st century. And I thought it was I thought that at least Casino Royale and Skyfall were both phenomenal movies. So, you know, there's that. But yeah, I think I'll go with Daniel Craig. I think he's brilliant. What's your favourite action film and why? That is a tough one, and there's so many ways you can kind of label action films. I love films like Die Hard or Predator or The Terminator. I mean, you could call it more sci-fi. I mean, there's so many different genres you can kind of throw in there. Yeah, and then do you go into martial arts? Because, you know, I thought The Raid was amazing, but you could almost call that just like a martial arts movie at times, even though it's very much an action movie as well. Yeah, Predator, I love. Predator's a great action movie. I'm going to go with The Raid. The Raid Redemption, as it's known in other countries. An Indonesian film, I want to say. I think that's where it was made. Might be wrong. It's in one of those countries. The Raid is amazing. It's it came out around the same time as Dredd, so a lot of people kind of like, did it steal from Dredd, or did Dredd steal from that? Because it has the same kind of plot where you have this guy who's on the police force who has to kind of infiltrate this tower block and go work his way up the levels, and it's just an amazing piece of action cinema, I guess you could say, with a lot of martial arts, but also a lot of just brutal, just like, oh, I can't even think of words to describe how brutal and awesome and innovative the fight scenes are in that film, and just the action as well. Yeah, just a fantastic piece of action, and great tension as well. It really builds up. It doesn't just, well, it does kind of throw a lot at you, but it kind of throws a lot at you, and then you kind of calm down a bit, and there's a great scene where the main character is kind of in kind of this crawl space in between, you know, the 2 rooms, I guess, and there's like a knife going through the wall. It's really a great moment that kind of brings you down a bit before bringing you back up again with more fight scenes. Yeah, The Raid is awesome. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. The second one's coming out this year, and I can't wait. Apparently it got rave reviews, and is yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. And then finally, recommend an underrated film. This is a tough one. I always go to Last Action Hero when I think about underrated film. That's a good action film. But, you know, I feel like more now in recent years, it seems like a lot of people have seen and enjoyed Last Action Hero, but for me, I think it's just such a incredibly good film that people just kind of dismiss as just one of those bad Arnie movies. It just isn't at all. It is so brilliant the way he kind of sends himself up and just takes the piss out of himself the whole way. And I love the concept of the film. I love the humor of the film. I think Charles Dance as Benedict is genuinely one of the best villains in a film I've ever seen. Brilliant. It's just an incredible film. Love Last Action Hero. I can watch it any day of the week, 10 times on Sunday. You got to see it if you haven't seen it, and you got to give it another chance if you thought it was rubbish, because it's just so good. And another one I would say, a more recent film, would be Warrior, starring Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton. Great film. I mean, I watched that film in the cinema, and I walked out thinking, this is probably a similar feeling people had in 1976 when they saw Rocky for the first time. It's not as good as Rocky, but it was a sports film. The emphasis was more on the drama and the personal kind of aspect of it, as opposed to the sport. And I think the fact that it was mixed martial arts put a lot of people off and thought it would just be one of those kind of, just a fighting movie. It really isn't. It's more about the characters, the relationships. Tom Hardy's incredible. I think Nick Nolte is in it. It's been a while since I've seen it. He was incredible anyway, the older guy. I'm pretty sure it's Nick Nolte. And Joel Edgerton was fantastic as well. A really entertaining film, but really emotional and gripping. It was my favourite film in 2011. I gave it 10 out of 10. And I just feel like not a lot of people watched it, and not a lot of people loved it as much as I did. So in that case, I think it's underrated. But excuse me. There you go. Warrior, Last Action Hero, 2 films I absolutely love that I don't feel a lot of people talk about. So yeah, that is my contest entry. Hope you enjoyed. If you're just watching this for my opinions and stuff, and go check out Rory, give him a sub, enter the contest. You know, spread the word of his channel around. I hope it goes well for him. Yeah, and it's again a really generous prize. So someone's going to be very happy with that. Thank you for watching.
He says he's really cool, but I think he's a tool. Even though I'm sure he's a quite nice guy, really. He's a quite nice guy, really.